Hello, my name is Meiju. Welcome to watch my tutorial on tubular cast on for 2x2 ribbing. For this cast on you need scrap yarn and the main yarn, and I have already worked some 4 rows with the scrap yarn and then 4 rows with the main yarn, and I have already cut the scrap yarn so I can put it away. So basically tubular cast on for 2x2 ribbing starts as the cast on for 1x1 ribbing. So you may want to watch my tutorials on 1x1 ribbing too if you are not familiar with this cast on. But once you have worked approximately 4 rows with the main yarn in stockinette stitch after the working rows with the scrap yarn, you will start the setup of this cast on. And the more rows with the main yarn you knit here at the beginning, the tighter cast on you will get. So I'm working here a cast on for a beanie brim, so it has to be somewhat stretchy, but still not too stretchy. So I have decided to work 4 rows, but you can work anything between 3 to 6 rows. I think if you work 6 rows it will be quite tight, but it would be perfect for a pullover neck cast on, for example. And if you want to work 3 rows, you need to start from the right side row. So you should then put your yarn, the beginning yarn, on the right side row. So you will work 1 right side row, wrong side row, right side row, so that your main yarn is in the beginning of the purl row next. So when I started to work with the main yarn, I started with the purl row to get 4 rows all together. So purl, knit, to get my main yarn here in the beginning. So now I will start the setup. The first stitch is purl stitch. Then you will find the first purl bump of the main yarn from the below, and you will put it on the needle. I will put it this way, you can also put it this way, but it will be a knit stitch to get 1x1 ribbing at this point. We will change it later. Then purl, you will find the next purl bump, put it on your needle, knit the stitch, purl, find the purl bump. So now that we are working on 2x2 ribbing, you need to get a number. If you want to start a round piece, you need to get a number that is divisible by 4. So if you need, for example, 100 stitches for a beanie cast on, then the number of stitches that you first cast on here with the scrap yarn will be 50 stitches, since you double the stitches here. So if you want, the cast on says cast on 100 stitches with tubular cast on, and you want to do with this tubular cast on method that I use, you need to cast on 50 stitches first. I used just simple long tail cast on with a scrap yarn. And this is how you go. You will purl always that purl stitch and find the purl bump, knit, put it on needle and knit it. And this way you will continue to the end. I will come back when I'm at the end, and make sure that your last stitch is a knit stitch, since you started here with a purl stitch. So you will get an even number of stitches. Okay, now we are at the end. So to get the number that we need, I have my last second last purl here. I will find the purl bump. It will be here. And now the last purl bump will be somewhat difficult to find, because it was actually there since the piece ends, so you have to get it from the side of this piece, like that. And now you probably want to make sure that you have the number of stitches that you need, so you can count them at this point. Yes, I have the exact number that I need. Then you need to get scissors, and what you do next is that you cut the scrap yarn off. And make sure that you do not cut the main yarn. Okay, there you go. Now I have cut everything off. So now what I will do, I will join this for a round piece, and I'm using magic loop technique since I have a long circular needle. And now I have to purl stitch here first. I'm making sure that I don't twist the edges, that they are facing downwards, and the place here is also not twisted. So I will first purl the purl stitch that is in the beginning. Then I'm putting a marker here to indicate the beginning of a round, or of a, and then I'm starting to change the ribbing from 1 by 1 ribbing to 2 by 2 ribbing. So I first knit the first stitch, then I need a second knit stitch there to get 2 by 2 ribbing. So what I'm doing, I'm catching the knit stitch and keeping the next purl stitch with my index finger there, place it back to the left hand needle, switching the knit stitch there and knit the stitch. Then I have a purl stitch. I will purl 2, and then again. So now I have knit 2, purl 2, then knit. I'm again catching the next knit stitch, slipping to purl and knit off, putting the purl back to the left hand needle, putting the knit stitch back to the left hand needle, knit it to get 2 knit stitches together, 10 purl, 2. And this is the repeat. Knit 1, catch the knit stitch, slip the knit and purl off, place the purl back, place the knit back, knit and purl 2. And this is how I repeat to the end of the round. And now I should get 2 purl stitches at the end. I will come back to show you how how it looks like after I finish the row. Okay, now I have reached the end of the row, and as you can see, the first or the last knit stitch here is a little bit droopy. You can fix it when you weave the end with this yarn tail here. It will always be something like that, and especially with this, when you change the ribbing from 1x1 to 2x2 ribbing, it will go like that, but it will look just fine after you weave the end. So this is how your work looks like. You always have 2 knit stitch, 2 purl stitch, and it looks the same from the other side too. And then you just continue the ribbing for your knit. Thank you for watching this video.